And that's tonight's News at 10.
Coming next, the national weather and the news where you are. We are back tomorrow, same time. But now from Julie and from me, good night.
Good night.
While your world is turning white, Sheila's wheels will see you right. Where the skies are grey or blue, our car insurance covers you.
Hello, good evening. Well, after the sort of day that many of us have had today, we're on a safe bet, I think, by describing tomorrow as drier and brighter, and it will be for most of us, but there's more wet and windy weather coming our way for Thursday and Friday. Overnight tonight, well, the heavy rain we've got in the southeast this evening, moving away to the east through the night, so then most places become fairly dry. There'll still be some patchy rain and drizzle around, perhaps some sleet or wet snow on the hills up in the north. It is going to be a cold night. Temperatures just below freezing parts of Scotland, so a touch of frost. For the rest of us, down around 2 or 3. And then tomorrow, well, there'll be a lot of cloud across northern England, some outbreaks of rain and drizzle, but it will be fairly light. It'll gradually fizzle out through the day. The rest of us, sunny spells and just an odd shower, but a chilly day tomorrow, typically around 5 or 6.
Where the skies are grey or blue, Sheila's wheels will cover you.
For natural stone tiles that stand the test of time, trust the specialists. Toops Tiles, tiling the nation.
It's not that easy being green.
Climate change is real.
Having to spend each day the color of green.
Our problems are man-made. Therefore, they can't be solved by man.
International rescue come in, please.
By 2020, EDF Energy aim to reduce the carbon intensity of CO2 emissions from their electricity production by 60%.
Oh, that's the idea. Making good use of bad rubbish.
It's beautiful, and I think it's what I want to be.
EDF Energy. If we save today, we can save tomorrow.
Right, well, that's your mortgage sorted.
We were just wondering what this £2,000 charge was.
That's the HLC.
What does that stand for?
Well, what do you think it stands for, eh? Handful of loose change? Have a look at my computer. Oh, eyes right. Hideous lady's cardigan. Hairy little cat.
Can you just tell us what it is?
All right, it's the higher lending charge. You have to pay it if you've got a small deposit.
£2,000. I think you'll find that we're hastily leaving.
Customers! On the leaflet, Colin.
My name's Malcolm.
He looks cross.
At Nationwide, we don't make you pay a higher lending charge in your mortgage. Nationwide, proud to be different.
In the beginning, some clever sort invented the engine. Engines, though, another clever sort pointed out, burn fuel and produce CO2, contributing to climate change. But there are simple ways to cut engine CO2, like keeping revs down and driving smoothly. This reduces engine workload and helps to burn less fuel, which is good for everyone. To find out more about reducing your engine's CO2 emissions, search online for Acton CO2.
TravelSupermarket.com compares the rates of over 100,000 hotels, over 50 car hire companies, and millions of flights, comparing quotes from online travel agents, tour operators, and budget and charter airlines.
Cool. We need to fly to Barcelona.
As soon as possible.
TravelSupermarket.com compares the market in seconds, making it easy for you to choose the best deal. TravelSupermarket.com, the price comparison site.
Pain when moving? The deep penetrating formula of Voltarol Emulgel P can be attracted to painful inflamed areas, so the pain-relieving power is concentrated exactly where you need it. Voltarol, direct relief from pain to help keep you moving. Voltarol, the joy of movement.
There is only one fashion sale. There is only one homeware sale. There is only one menswear sale. There is only one sale. Harreds Rewards cardholders save an extra 10% this weekend. Terms and conditions apply. Sale ends Saturday, 26th of January.
No more lottery raids, the government's pledge as it moves to calm fears about a massive shortfall in London's Olympic budget. And lifesavers, what footballer Al Bangura thinks of Watford fans after they help him win his fight against deportation. Good evening, I'm Joy Sohaja. The transfer of more than £1 billion of national lottery cash to pay for London's Olympics was rubber-stamped by MPs tonight. The government has now pledged there will be no further calls on the Good Causes Fund. It's also moved to calm fears about a massive shortfall in Olympic finances. There are fears that land prices might not increase at the rate needed to repay all the money owed. This report from our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
The tower cranes may have been idle thanks to the wind, but all around the Olympic Park there are telltale signs which say property hotspot. An Olympic building bonanza has spawned a host of high-rise homes commanding high prices. But the question is, will it last? Government ministers certainly hope so. In fact, they're banking on it, because selling off Olympic land is a crucial part of making the sums add up. Not all of the Olympic Park will be offered for sale after the Games. Some of the venues, like the stadium and the aquatic centre, will be kept. So will much of the new parkland. But about 68 hectares will be offered to developers in the hope of raising almost £2 billion. Olympic debts include £1.19 billion spent by the Mayor's London Development Agency to buy and clear the site, and another £675 million raided from the lottery. That's a total bill of more than £1.8 billion. But if property prices rise by no more than 6% a year, the sale of the land might only raise £836 million, leaving a massive shortfall.
This shortfall is money that was going to be repaid to the good causes as a result of the huge number of raids that have been made on their funds in order to make the Olympic sums add up. If they don't get that money back, then we're not going to see the investment in grassroots sports. That's the big promise of the Olympics.
To raise enough cash to repay all the debts, experts warn that land prices in this area will need to go up by 16% a year. Is that possible?
We're pretty bullish, and we're saying sort of more than 6.5%, and leading up to the Games, probably nearer to 9, 10, 11%.
What about the 16% that the ministers and the mayor seem to need?
In terms of land value, I think that sounds pretty ludicrous.
The Mayor of London disagrees, even though his advisors have underlined the risk.
They're accountants. They have to say, what's the worst case scenario? And on the worst case scenario, we still get enough money in to pay all that we've borrowed to pay for the Olympics.
But not the lottery?
Not the lottery, but it isn't going to be the worst case scenario. For us to bubble along at 6 or 7% increase in land prices for the next 20 years would, run against all that we've seen in the last 20.
Tonight, the Culture Secretary promised the House of Commons there'll be no further raids on the lottery. But repaying what's already been taken appears to rely on a big property gamble. Simon Harris, London Tonight, Stratford.
A London deputy head teacher wants children banned from using YouTube. His school has suspended 9 pupils who posted their acts of vandalism online. A word of warning, this report by Phil Bales contains some images of violence.
Playground bullying has been turned into mass entertainment. Horrific attacks like these, known as happy slapping, were once filmed on mobiles and sent as texts. Now some are posted on internet sites like YouTube. It's impossible to stop the videos being put on. And one school, Wimbledon College, is so concerned that one senior teacher, a deputy head, spends time monitoring the internet. Usually videos posted by his pupils are innocent, but in one case, the material was offensive and 9 boys were suspended.
We then discovered an appalling piece of behaviour which involved chanting of songs and thumping the top of a bus by one of the people, and some foul language. They'd been told to stop doing this by a member of the public, and they ignored it, and we felt it necessary to exclude a group of people for doing this because we felt it brought the school's name into disrepute.
Many schools and parents want children banned from posting videos. Instead, YouTube say they remove inappropriate images like violence after complaints and guilty users can be excluded by having their accounts disabled. But is it enough?
Unfortunately, you won't just stop cyberbullying by banning or blocking YouTube. Children are circumventing some of these sites. They're going straight to mobile text, sending offensive photographs. And I think the message today is that there are unintended consequences of simply blocking and banning and stopping this stuff, because some of it will go into less scrupulous providers, and children will sadly find ways to intimidate and threaten their peers in other ways.
In an ideal world, a place for mere harmless fun, in reality the internet attracts more sinister users. The chorus demanding greater controls is likely to increase. Phil Bales, London Tonight.
Other headlines tonight, and both the Ministry of Justice and the Attorney General have ruled out inquiries into the decision to grant bail to Gary Waddell. Waddell, who was a police inspector, shot his mother-in-law dead before committing suicide. He was on bail at the time, charged with murdering his wife at their home in Hertfordshire. And EDF Energy, which supplies London and the South East, has announced inflation-busting price rises coming into effect from this Friday. The cost of its electricity increases by 7.9% and its gas by almost 13%. The company blames the wholesale cost it has to pay for its energy supply. Watford footballer Al Bangura has been speaking for the first time since winning his fight to stay in Britain. As we reported last night, he was facing deportation back to Sierra Leone. But that threat's been lifted now. He's been granted a work permit. He told our correspondent Emma Walden how much he owes the club's fans.
They saved my life. They create a big impact in my life, for my life to be safe, for me to stay in this country. So I just want to say thank you to the supporter. Thank you to the English people that have been doing that for me.
A huge debt of gratitude. Al Bangura today wanted to thank all those who have, in his words, saved his life. The 19-year-old, used to sporting contests on the football pitch, has faced a much more challenging personal battle over the past few months, the fight to remain in the UK. These were the scenes of support at Vicarage Road last month. At the time, the midfielder, who'd recently become a father, faced deportation back to his native Sierra Leone. He'd fled his homeland and an extreme religious cult when he was just 15 and believed he would be killed if he was made to return to the country. But today, a very different picture and a very relieved young man after an appeal committee granted him a work permit.
I think one word I haven't used today is probably euphoric. I felt so pleased for Al. As I said from day one, of course we want him in our football team, and of course we want to get the best for him, but really it's a humanitarian story. It's about a young man, very frightened, very vulnerable, who thought he was going back to somewhere where he desperately didn't want to go because he was frightened for his life.
And whilst the support from his club and MP have been invaluable, it is the amazing response from the wider community that has touched Al the most.
Normally I used to get a letter from the club, but people that don't even know send this, oh, I feel sad for you, I feel this for you. I wish I'll be able to contact them and say, thanks very much for what you people have been done. But I'm saying it now to all of them now, where I'm sitting out, talking to them. I just want to say thank you for them. And I hope I don't disappoint them, and I hope I keep them happy, to be fair.
And this is how he intends to do just that, scoring goals in the Championship. Emma Walden, London Tonight, Watford.
OK, we know it's been wet and miserable today. Robin McCallan can tell us if there's anything to look forward to.
Hello again. Things don't look too bad for tomorrow. It promises to be a mostly dry and bright day, but we can't relax. Thursday and Friday see a return to wet and windy conditions once again. Now, we had some very heavy rain this evening. There's still a bit of it around, but it's moving away swiftly eastwards, and after midnight we can settle down to a dry night. Clear skies here and there. In fact, temperatures at lowest down to around 4 degrees Celsius. Now, tomorrow morning has a very different look to it. Dry and bright in the main. Perhaps the odd rogue shower down to the south of our patch. Not a great deal of change during the course of the afternoon. It will feel noticeably cooler, though, tomorrow, with temperatures set to peak at around 9 degrees Celsius, despite that little bit of extra sunshine. But beyond that, as I've just mentioned, it's not looking too good. Certainly for Thursday and Friday, wet and windy once again, but a return to showery conditions in time for the beginning of the weekend. A very good night.
That's it. We're back tomorrow with bulletins in GMTV, and London Tonight is at 6. From all of us here on the London team, good night.
It's become one of the most exclusive and expensive places in the world to live, but how and why? Piers Morgan on Sandbanks is next. Once a barren sand dune, it's now a thriving, exclusive and very expensive address in the first of 3 programmes, Piers Morgan on Sandbanks.